Welcome to the series of training screencasts for the Kansas Writing Instruction and Evaluation Tool, KWIET. This first screencast provides background information and a general overview of the features and functionality of this tool. The other screencasts provide more detailed training on using the student environment and the educator environment within KWIET. Let's get started. The Kansas Writing Instruction and Evaluation Tool is an online environment where students can compose pieces of writing using the entire writing process in response to the writing tasks and prompts that their teachers have created for them. Additionally, once students have finished the writing process, educators can log back into the tool and actually score and provide feedback on that student writing. And while KWIET is available for state, district, school, and classroom writing tasks at all grade levels, KWIET, in essence, becomes an online portfolio of student writing that allows educators across the state to track writing development over time. And one of the beautiful elements about KWIET is that it's based upon the student's state ID number. So the access to KWIET will follow a student no matter where he or she goes within the state of Kansas, whether that's moving from an elementary building to a middle school building, or whether that's moving from one district to another. This allows teachers to enter KWIET and actually see prior writing samples for each of their students. And as we imagine those new rosters that we get in August of every year, how valuable might it be to be able to go back and look at the writing strengths and possible areas for improvement for our individual students, so that we can tailor our instruction to their needs and help our students to grow to become college and career ready. That is one of the advantages of KWIET, an online environment that's entirely paperless, that allows students to complete pre-writing, drafting, collaboration or peer editing, and publication, and also allows educators to collaborate, to share prompts, to share tasks, and to score and provide feedback on the writing that students produce. The KWIET tool has been in operation since October of 2010. KWIET is being built in a very modular fashion. Some of you may have seen the TV commercial where the folks are building the airplane while in the air flying that same airplane. KWIET is being built in a very similar fashion. In October of 2010, we released Phase 1 of KWIET. This was a very rudimentary program really focused on the student environment within KWIET, trying to make sure that the functionality and the student experience with this tool was usable and comfortable for our students. Then in February of 2011, we entered Phase 2 of the development of KWIET, and here we really began to focus our attention on the educator environment, making sure that the experience for educators was simple and easy to use. We piggybacked on the KSDE instructional example prompts and allowed teachers to begin to use those, or allowed teachers to create their own prompts and their own assignments for student writing. During Phase 2, there were also limited scoring capacities for teachers. So teachers had a very rudimentary scoring features within the tool. By Phase 3, that was unveiled in September of 2011, we began to add more additional features to the tabs. Collaboration was activated for students, so that online students can peer edit with other members of their class to receive feedback and suggestions for improvement for their writing. And we also created the ability for teachers to adapt rubrics or create their own rubrics from scratch to more closely align with the prompts and the kinds of tasks that they wanted to do. And in Phase 3, we also gave educators the opportunity to provide feedback on student writing, whether that was specific detailed feedback in the form of more traditional marginalia comments, or whether that was more holistic summative feedback at the end of a student's essay. And finally, here in Phase 4, which was unveiled in August of 2012, we added even yet additional features to the KWIET tool. We altered the makeout of the student environment a little bit, so that the pre-writing and drafting tabs were side by side rather than over and under, to eliminate some of the scrolling that particularly younger students sometimes had trouble with. We created human scoring via interactive online rubrics that more closely matched what we did in the paper pencil world prior to the development of KWIET. We've also created building level and district level administrator logins so that administrators can go in and look into individual classrooms within their building or within their district to see the kinds of writing assignments and to see the kinds of writing that students are producing. And finally, during Phase 4, we've made KWIET one of the delivery platforms available for this year's administration of the Kansas Writing Assessment. And although KWIET is well served in delivering the writing assessment, it should be noted that the primary focus and the primary purpose of KWIET is not to deliver the assessment. The primary purpose of KWIET is to fuel good writing instruction in classrooms across the state of Kansas. This tool has really been built for instruction and for the benefit and use of Kansas teachers and Kansas students. We've created a tool that is very, very flexible to allow teachers to use it for different purposes and in different contexts based upon their needs of their curricula and their students. With that flexibility comes the need to hammer out more of the parameters for individual assignments or individual writing tasks. However, we see this flexibility as one of the hallmarks of this effective tool. Later in these screencasts, we'll take a look at each of the two environments for KWIET, the student environment and also the educator environment. In other words, the KWIET tool is accessed differently depending upon whether one is a student or one is an educator. And more detail about that in just a moment. In addition to these online screencast training modules, there are also additional training and resources available from the CETE website. To access these additional resources, please visit the following URL: www.cete.us/KAP/KWIET. When you visit this webpage, you will find a number of resources already loaded there for you to be able to use. There are some basic instructions for preparing to use KWIET, from entering TEST records and STCO records in the KIDS system, to actually accessing the help documents that will be used to help teachers and building and district level administrators use KWIET. There are also a number of tutorials available on the CETE website as well. These tutorials focus on the student experience right here within KWIET. But as always, if you have additional questions or additional needs, you have two sources of contact for that help. First would be the CETE Help Desk. These folks can help you with the more technical aspects of the computer program and how precisely it works. They can be reached at area code 785-864-3537. The other additional contact would be myself, Matt Copeland, Language Arts and Literacy Consultant at KSDE. Please feel free to give me a call or drop me an email if I can provide any assistance. My number is area code 785-296-5060, or it may be more efficient to contact me via email at mcopeland@ksde.org.